Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. My name is Rosalina Africano and I'm your host. Today I am with
Brian Miller.
Brian Miller. Brian Miller is here representing Seir Hill. Where is Seir Hill?
Seir Hill is in Wilton, Connecticut.
And is that home for you?
It is. I live on Seir Hill Road.
Yeah, you live on Seir Hill Road. Today, Brian and I are at Mindful Drinking Fest. It's a festival just in time for dry January. And we are talking about, we're going to do a few things today. We're going to make a cocktail with Brian's product, Seir Hill Biscane.
Yep.
We're also going to taste the cocktail and talk a little bit more about how we got to this point, how you got to Mindful Drinking Fest, as well as the notes, the flavors, the aromas that are in our cocktail. Our cocktail today is called?
Dark and Buzzy.
Dark and Buzzy. So we're going to use the Seir Hill Biscane, the rum alternative.
Yep.
And we're also going to use Betty Buzz ginger beer. And we're also going to use all the bitter, non-alcoholic, aromatic bitters. So why don't we start? I believe that this cocktail is made with 2 ounces of Biscane.
Yep.
We'll pour that into our mixing glass. Perfect. And I will take that and pour 2 ounces of Betty Buzz ginger beer. My mouth is starting to water already. And then 2 dashes. I'll call that 2 dashes of all the bitter aromatic bitters. We'll play on all the better. Give that a stir. And then a squeeze of lime. They call for a half lime for this recipe, but now we're having 2 drinks, so I will squeeze 2.
Nice.
Give that a nice fresh, bright flavor.
Oh, it's delicious.
It does look delicious.
I can smell it.
And then we'll give a little pour. Look out. For you?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. It smells delicious.
It does.
And for me. Cheers.
Cheers. That's amazing.
It is really flavorful.
Very light, very flavorful. Yep.
You know, the notes that I get from the rum alternative right away are kind of a toasted caramel scent. I smell it. I can taste it through my nose.
Vanilla. Yep.
Vanilla. That's really refreshing.
It is.
Really refreshing. Well, let's talk about how Seir Hill started.
Sure. Yeah, it started in 2020. In 2019, I had given up drinking alcohol. And as I like to say, it's like that line from Airplane. I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue because I gave up alcohol and the pandemic started, which presented its own challenges. But given that time, I had just sold my creative agency, which meant I had a little bit of capital behind me and I had a little bit of time on my hands. So I started playing around with beverages that I could enjoy on a Friday night that didn't have alcohol in them. And there weren't a lot of options at that time. So I concocted something that I called a whiskey. It was our first flavor. It's called Mashville. And then I started bottling it and selling it, and it started doing really well. It was really exciting.
Now, I'd show you a bottle of Mashville, but it was so popular, it sold out.
That's right. It sold. We had a very successful Q4 of last year, holiday into dry January, and we are completely sold out. So I didn't even have a bottle to bring with me here to the event. So then it just started kind of snowballed from there. My wife is a marketing professional, so she gave me a lot of guidance. My background is in branding and web design, so I was able to build the website and do the packaging. And we've had just wonderful success. It's a great community of people. And I know this won't last forever, but we're all sort of lifting each other up in this movement of drinking less, sober curious, whatever you want to call it.
You know, it's really popular. I noticed when I was at Tales of the Cocktail last year, there was not a day where I wasn't conscious of the non-alcoholic movement moving through this very alcohol-oriented cocktail convention.
Sure.
So it's certainly not a passing thing. There's a lot of people, for whatever reason, for health reasons, whatever. I mean, you know, I don't need to go through all the reasons, but the bottom line is they're enjoying non-alcoholic cocktails, and they end up being able to socialize in bar, and they're not drinking soda waters.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, I grew up in the 80s, and in the 80s there was a bunch of weirdos called vegetarians, right? And then you fast forward 30 years, and you can't walk into a restaurant without a vegetarian portion of a menu.
It's true.
And I look at it the same way. I have two daughters, 10 and 13. I'm hoping at their weddings there is a cocktail bar and a mocktail bar right next to it. So it becomes that popular, and people are looking for non-alcoholic options.
I think we're well on our way to that path. I don't think that that's an unusual expectation at all. We're heading down that path, and we're heading down very, very quickly.
Well, it's clear based on this event. I mean, because
the event was crowded.
The event was packed, and every booth, the beverages were better than the last one. And there's so many options now. It used to be soda or water, and now there are just dozens, if not thousands,
fruit
of
juices.
options.
You could have fruit juice
You're
as well.
right.
No, the Mindful Drinking Fest is particularly popular. Before we start talking about that, let's present the other spirit that you have here. This is
Duran Gold.
Duran Gold.
Yep.
And this is your...
That's our non-alcoholic tequila.
Okay, so this is your tequila alternative, and this is what you'd make your margaritas with.
That's right.
Or
Yep.
That sounds delicious.
And we are actually coming out with a canned margarita, ready to drink can.
RTD,
Yep.
RTE.
Yep.
I did a whole segment on that, and it seemed like we got caught in all of the initials. And then, of course, we're enjoying the Biscane today. And that's a nod to the Florida rum runners.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And you know, what's funny is as the scrappy entrepreneur, I mean, I had some trouble getting my beverages down here, and you know, there was so much work involved in getting the event ready and studying the numbers and talking to investors. I just forget that I make a really delicious beverage, and it was so refreshing today to serve it to people and have them say they loved it. A couple of people said, "This is the best thing I've tasted here." It's just so rewarding. You know, it reminds me of why I'm doing this.
Well, you were telling me that they were heading straight for the pantry to pick up a bottle. That's very, very rewarding,
Yeah.
I'm sure, because to get to this point to where you think about this in your home to coming to market is fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, you've come a long way.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a grind. It's been expensive. I'm always looking for investors, but I'm always willing to listen to advisors as well. And I've had a lot of great advisors and help, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, here we are. This is Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. My name is Rosalina Africano, and I am with
Brian Miller.
Brian Miller, and he's with Seir Hill. And we are at Mindful Drinking Fest. This is Derek Brown's festival, a fully non-alcoholic festival full of people who are excited about this path.
Yeah, I think even more people than he expected. There was a lot of people here today.
It's so exciting. Yeah. What a perfect event for Dry January. Well, cheers! Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure to have you.
I appreciate it.